In the EU, renewables have had 54% of power generation in the second quarter of 25. Solar is by far leading the front. It was 22% of all power in Europe. It barely edged out nuclear at 21.6%, which I didn't know Europe used that much nuclear. Wind at 15.8, hydro at 14, and natural gas at only 13. Latvia was 93%, Austria almost 92%, Croatia 89%, Slovakia is at 19.9%, was the very bottom. That's on par with the US. 26% of renewables being hydro, I guess, is surprising to me. Hi, I'm David with EV World News, and I'm back today with our resident engineer, Mike Herzog. How's it going today, Mike?
I'm glad to be back here, David.
You know, here was something I thought was kind of interesting. In the EU, renewables have had 54% of power generation in the second quarter of 25. Solar is by far leading the front. I found this interesting because in the US, we're getting pushback against solar and renewables right now with the current administration.
Mm-hmm.
Trump was saying that green energy, well, you're saying climate change is a scam. But at the same time, I don't associate everything with renewables as being part of climate change. You know, I talk about air pollution and all that all the time. And we know that cutting back on coal saves lives.
Yeah.
You know, there's lots of data to support that. Solar became the EU's single largest electricity source for the first time ever in June. It was 22% of all power in Europe. It barely edged out nuclear at 21.6%, which I didn't know Europe used that much nuclear. Wind at 15.8, hydro at 14, and natural gas at only 13.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very different profile. Yeah.
It is. I mean, in the U.S., we were around 19% nuclear, 18% coal. What's interesting is they didn't even mention coal.
No, it's that low. I mean, we're still up there with coal, but after the 2000s and 10s, like we have so much wind. And you can, I mean, the part of the country where we're at, you just drive down an interstate and turbine after turbine after turbine that's out there. So that's been the forefront. And it's, like you said, solar's been a tough one. Just to get going, the economics weren't there for a long time. Even with subsidies and everything like that. So it's just taken time to get its foothold.
Well, this article doesn't mention the U.S. at all. Aren't we like 22% wind, solar, and hydro combined? Something like that, and 20% nuclear. I know we're like 42% or something like that. If you combine nuclear.
It'd be combined nuclear and.
Yeah, with wind, solar, and that, it's a little over 40%. And then you got LNGs like 40% and coal's still like 18, something like that. So Denmark is 94.7% renewables.
Is Norway right up there too? I think they're almost 100, aren't they? I mean, that 94% is pretty much 100.
It's pretty close. These were the top ones. Latvia was 93%, Austria almost 92%, Croatia 89%, Portugal 85%.
For renewables?
For renewables.
Well, it's renewable. I mean, with nuclear under the renewable umbrella, right? Or not?
I think they're concluding nuclear, but I can't be for sure on that. But these aren't countries. So I don't think Denmark has nuclear. For instance, the notable countries with nuclear, well, really is France, but there's others. I just don't know which ones they are. But at the bottom end, it was Slovakia is at 19.9%, was the very bottom. That's on par with the US.
It's one of those, I actually crossed the border from Slovakia to Austria last year or 2 years ago. And it's like wind, one side, no wind turbines, the other side, nothing but wind turbines when you cross that border over there. So yeah, I have seen that in action of why the discrepancies between those two countries.
Yeah. Malta was at 21%. Now Malta's a pretty damn small country.
Well, it's an island too, isn't it?
Yeah. Czech Republic was at 22%. But all three of those countries are right along where the U.S. is. Yeah, but it's just crazy to think about that we try to criticize that, yet so many countries are functioning on renewables. 15 EU countries saw their share of renewable generation rise year over year. Luxembourg was up 13%, another small country. Belgium was up 9%. largely driven by solar. Across the EU, solar was about 37% of renewable generation, followed by wind at just under 30%, hydro at 26%, geothermal at 0.4, and biomass at 7.3. That's a 26% of renewables being hydro, I guess, is surprising to me. It's funny. I hear criticism of every type of energy. I mean, geothermal has, summons evil spirits. Hydro kills the fish.
That's got to be about the only knock against geothermal, right? Otherwise, it's just we drilled a hole and it's hot in the hole and we use that heat.
It's summoning the evil spirits from the middle of the earth. I mean, I'm not trying to criticize Hawaiians, but that is their main complaint. And all of the geothermal has been consumed by lava. So the evil spirits came and took care of it.
Like Hawaii and even some of those Caribbean islands. I mean, they're big volcanoes. Shouldn't that geothermal potential be through the roof?
You'd think so, but it is just, I don't know. It's just an interesting play. And then I had somebody the other day, I was looking at an article that was talking about why nuclear is so much better than hydro, because hydro is so bad for the environment. And I'm just like, really? You're picking the hydro? Of course, there was that, those dams in Oregon that got taken out. But
that got taken out.
Yeah, but I just like, there's people that hate everything. You can't find, there's people that say windmills are ugly. Well, I'm not disputing
that. No,
there's truth to that.
I mean, that was, when I worked at a utility and siting projects and things like that, like when people would come in and like, look, this is my beautiful view today. We moved here because of this beautiful view. And like, you're going to put those right there. And I mean, yeah, sorry. I don't really have an argument against that. Yeah, they're not the prettiest thing in the world, but it's important. They're kind of a big deal.
The clip you just saw was part of our live podcast. If you enjoyed it, don't miss out. Join us every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday right here on EV World News. We stream not just on YouTube, but also on Facebook and X, so you can catch us wherever you prefer. If you found this content valuable, don't forget to like, subscribe, and to share to help us grow. If you'd like to support our work, please consider becoming a YouTube member. It really helps us bring you the latest EV news and insights. I'll see you in the next one.